Hello, everybody, far and wide, and welcome to this forum that looks back in time. Courtesy of Casa D18 Studios, we hope you enjoy what's being called Throwback Thursday. Over the coming weeks, months, and hopefully years to come, we hope that you will enjoy us opening the vaults and archives to look back at some of the most unique content across all of our platforms, whether it's Casa D18 Studios, the Jeff Meacham Network, NoDQ.com, my Sybil YouTube channel, The Sybil Man's Brand, and of course, FTW Productions, hosted by James Hebert at jhebertside95. It basically is just going to offer you a ton of classic content. So with that being said, buckle up, have fun, take a seat, just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling and enjoy what this Throwback Thursday has in store for you. And again, I hope that you stay tuned for many more that hopefully will come too.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome everyone to Lucky Number 13. This is episode number 13 of Talk Wrestling on NoDQ.com and MySpace and YouTube. Thank you very much to everybody that watched episode 12 last week, my big comeback show. It was a lot of fun being back, and yes, I'm wearing the same clothes as last week because you know what? I like this shirt, okay? And I like this hat. This is my Washington, D.C. hat, bitches. Speaking of D.C., nobody's commented on my pictures yet. I'm very upset with you people. Go comment on my pictures. I took them for a reason. I didn't take them for my own personal gratification. I took them so you could comment on them. It's very simple. Come on. Go comment right now. This is from Iron666 Priest. With TNA moving to 2 hours, having them bring in the women's division and talks of having 1 hour focus on the mid-card stars and the other hour to the top stars, do you think this is a good move for them? I myself like to see more of the X Division and high flying as they did when they were on pay-per-view every week a few years ago. I also would like to see Amazing Red back in TNA and have him feud with Low Key again. Their first match together, although short, was very good. Now, as far as the Amazing Red goes, I love to see the Amazing Red back in TNA. He is one of the most phenomenal athletes I've ever seen in my life. I wish I could have seen him live because he is great. but I didn't get that chance. Mike did, I think, from what I understand. Mike Nagel did. But I have to ask him next time I talk to him, which I don't know when that's going to be. As far as TNA overall, right now moving to 2 hours, the women's division, and the 1 hour being the mid-card, the other hour being the top stars. I think what they need to do is focus on everybody. Don't just focus on the top stars 1 hour and the mid-card the next hour. Focus on everybody that you have. Try to get as many people as you can in without making it seem overbooked like the first show did. The women's championship should be very interesting. The knockout title, whatever you want to call it. Should be very interesting to see. We saw who won the championship at Bound for Glory, so she'll have challengers lining up for her. I would like to see more of the X Division and the high-flying stuff like they did a few years ago when they were on weekly pay-per-view, but, you know, the business has evolved. The TNA company has evolved overall. I don't think that you're going to see a lot of the same things. You're going to see different things. You're going to see new things. Yes, the X Division is always evolving. It's always new. It's always fresh. It's always exciting. So hopefully you'll see more of the X Division. But as far as the high-flying stuff, you know, it depends who you got in the ring. It really does. Anthony, what do you think will be the main event for WrestleMania 24? Well, with Cena out of the picture, it's very, very much anybody's game. I'd like to see Randy Orton be in the main event. I know I've said this on the show. I don't like Randy Orton. Hello, hi, thank you for watching. I don't think that Randy Orton should be in the main event. I think Randy Orton should be gone. But since he is the top guy right now, let him be in the main event for WrestleMania. Let him get his butt whooped. I'd like to see Kennedy win the Royal Rumble and maybe get a shot at the WWE Championship or the World Championship or the ECW Championship, whatever championship you want to put him up in the ring with. I also like to see Shawn Michaels get one more main event, and I mentioned this a few shows ago. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. That would be a great WrestleMania main event caliber match. It may not necessarily be the main event for one of the top championships, but you know what? Let them go at each other one more time in a big retirement match, and let them just beat the crap out of each other and have a phenomenal match like I know they're both capable of having. This is from Captain Underpants. These names on MySpace, I swear to God. I heard a few rumors that a handful of TNA's talent are unhappy with their current situation with the company and that most of them are not planning to re-sign. Samoa Joe was the first one named who clearly said he won't re-sign with TNA, and rumors that Team 3D won't be re-signing either. Do you see them going to WWE if their contracts are finished with TNA? If so, where do you see them going when they enter the WWE? Well, Samoa Joe has never actually said, I'm not re-signing. He just hasn't done it yet. He's never actually said, I am not going to re-sign. He never clearly said that. He's just not re-signed yet. And that's all internet rumors and gossip and bullshit anyway. You guys can't believe everything you read on the internet or see on the internet. You just gotta go with the facts. And that's why I don't deal in rumors and bullshit and drama and shit like that. I deal with straight facts. Right now, the fact is Samoa Joe is being pushed as a semi-main. He's not a main event slot anymore. And I'm sure that upsets him very much. He was the main event with Kurt Angle for a long time. And now that he's not, I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed. I'd love to see Samoa Joe be the world champion in TNA. He deserves it. He really does. But I don't think it's going to happen, at least in the short-term future. We saw what happened at Bound for Glory with his match with Christian. I think it's going to be a big indicator as to where Samoa Joe is going. As far as Team 3D goes, I don't see why they wouldn't be happy. They're back being the top heels in the company again. Team 3D is more over than they've ever been. They're the vicious, nasty, mean bastards that they used to be in ECW, and the fans are hating them, and they love it. I don't see why they would be unhappy. I think it's really ridiculous if they are unhappy. I think they should be more than happy with their situation right now. Mark, who is your favorite Canadian wrestler? I would have to say my favorite all-time Canadian wrestler is Bret the Hitman Hart. Currently, my favorite Canadian wrestler is probably Petey Williams. I like Petey Williams. I always have. He's a great talent. He's a great wrestler. I think he's really good. But all-time, my favorite Canadian wrestler would have to be Bret the Hitman Hart. This is from another Mark, but it says, Mark! It's an exclamation point. Hey Jeff, I was talking with my cousin the other day, and I suggested the TNA make one of the pay-per-views an X Division exclusive. Destination X obviously would work, but it's too close to Lockdown, which is also a gimmick card. Your thoughts? I think TNA's formula of pay-per-views is working. I think TNA doesn't need to do just an X Division pay-per-view or just a gimmick pay-per-view. I think you need to spread things out, make everybody available for the pay-per-views, let everybody shine in an equal way, not just the X Division or not just the top guys or not just, the tag teams or not just anything. Have them showcase everybody as much as they can. That way they get more people over and they get more talent involved. I think that... I think having the X Division being showcased is a good idea, don't get me wrong, but I think having them dominate the pay-per-view would be a mistake because that's not what their bread is better. Their bread is better with guys like Kurt Angle and Sting and Samoa Joe and, the big-name marquee talent, not the X Division guys. So, AJ Styles is a rare exception, and Christopher Daniels and, Black Machismo Daily to a point. But I don't think the X Division, showcased on a pay-per-view by themselves is a good idea. This is from Cowboy Wrestle Cage. I've heard various things about Hulk Hogan starting out a new wrestling promotion. How well do you think it would work out? I know Hogan has a big fan base, and that would be a help to him. This kind of goes back to my comment about why WWE and TNA doesn't push the talent they already have and use the names people know. People are used to enjoying watching the people they're familiar with and have enjoyed over the years. I think Hogan's promotion has a chance as long as he's backing it. But I think that the market is very oversaturated again. I think that the two companies, WWE and TNA, are very dominant, and I don't think a third promotion is going to have a national success like WWE has and like TNA is starting to have. I don't think that they'll be a good indie fed. They really will. They'll be a good independent promotion, but I don't think you're going to see them have national success like WWE has had over the last many years, and TNA is starting to have in the last 5 years. So I think it has a chance to be successful, but it's got to be really pushed, and it's got to have a lot of not just marquee talent, but new, fresh talent that people can get behind. This is from Manic. What are your personal opinions on Juggalo Championship Wrestling? Damn flies. Here we go outside with the flies again. I've had a chance to see Juggalo Championship Wrestling. I think it's a great concept. I think they're a great promotion. I think ICP's got a good thing going for themselves. I think that they're a good promotion. I think that they have a chance to be successful in a moderate way, not in an overly big way like WWE or TNA or even Hogan's promotion will be. But I think that they're a great indie fed. They have a great good group following, a cult following, if you will. And I think that given time, they could have a chance to be a little bit more successful. They're not going to be, like I said, a big national powerhouse like WWE or TNA, but they do have a chance to be marginally successful. This is from Prince Shadow. Who was my favorite interview and why? Wow. I've had a lot of interviews. As far as overall, well, let's see. On the video show XMV, my favorite interview was probably Rob Van Dam. We had him twice on the show. He was our guest of the year for 2005. He provided us access to his store, which is very nice of him to do that. I think that Rob is a great interview. He's got a lot of charisma. He's got a lot of things to say. He's not afraid to speak his mind, which is always great in an interview subject. I think that Rob provided us with a lot of good material. He gave us one of the best promos we ever got to advertise the show. It was great. And he was really good at video-wise. Overall, my favorite interview would probably have to be Bobby the Brain Heenan. How can you go wrong with the Brain? Bobby was a great talent. Hello? Sorry, for the phone ring, I had to do it. Bobby Heenan was a great interview. He was funnier than hell. He had Mike and I rolling each and every time we talked to him. We talked to him about 2 or 3 different times, I believe. And I actually got to meet him at the early part of 2004 when he signed his books to me, and I presented him with a plaque. There's a picture of that on my MySpace on the past interviews section. Bobby was a great interview. He was a lot of fun. He provided us a lot of insight that a lot of people didn't give us. And he's just funny. He's a great talent. He's a great guy, great human being. On my short-lived show, Ringside Insanity, that I did with Jade, my favorite interview was probably Michelle Dighton. Either that or Cole Cabana. Cole Cabana was a great interview. But I think overall my favorite interview was Bobby the Brain Heenan. A lot of people ask me about my opinion about Chris Jericho and what I think they should do with him, how he should be used. I think Jericho could be best utilized in a feud with a guy like Kennedy, or a guy like Randy Orton, or a guy like Triple H. They've seen the They've seen the Orton Triple H feud enough. They've seen the Triple H Jericho feud enough, quite honestly. But I think a feud with Mr. Kennedy would be a great draw. I think Mr. Kennedy and Jericho would have a lot of great matches, a lot of good storylines together. I think Orton and Jericho would have a good storyline together. They've competed a little bit in the past, not a whole lot, but a little bit. I think they can work on that. If Jericho comes back to SmackDown, I'd love to see him feud with a guy like Finlay, or have a feud with a mid-card guy. If you bring him back to ECW, they should only have him feud with the champion. I don't think he's better suited for anything else besides ECW Championship and ECW. But I think if he comes back to Raw, a feud with Kennedy or Orton is the best way to go. All right, I'm going to talk about Cyber Sunday for a brief minute here. It's not going to be too long because we don't have a whole lot of matches confirmed yet. But the WWE Championship match is going to be Randy Orton defending against either Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, or Mr. Kennedy. I would love to see Mr. Kennedy get the vote, but let's be honest here. People are going to vote for Shawn Michaels. They want to see Shawn Michaels kick Randy Orton's butt. They started the angle with that a couple weeks ago on Raw, and I think that's where they're going to build toward. So, but I think Randy Orton will retain the championship in that contest if it is Shawn Michaels. If it's any of the three of them, he'll retain the championship. Thank you very much to everybody that watched the show today. We appreciate the viewership. My email is still very clogged, so please don't send me any more questions. I'll get to your question in the next few weeks, I promise. Go to myspace.com/Jeff Meacham for the latest show. Also go to my pictures and comment on them. God damn it, comment on my pictures. My pictures are naked. I need picture comments. Do it now, right now. And go to youtube.com, username NoDQ&AV. Check them out. Aaron's got a lot of great videos up from the NoDQ&AV days, and the old XMV days are up there as well. Check those out. And, of course, your number one wrestling source, NoDQ.com. Check them out as well. And for the cameraman himself, Aaron Riff, this is Jeff Meacham saying goodbye from Talk Wrestling.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
It's out of my hands, but I'm still in control. It's out of my hands. You can never take away the power of my soul.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Masters Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. All Retro Wrestling Review Series videos on demand and upcoming. All WrestleMania themed retros available now on demand. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play series. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. Indy Force Episode 26, available now on demand. Jeff Meacham Network, Backlash and Rebellion Watch-Along events. FTW Productions Watch Party for WrestleMania Go Home Raw. A Simple Take, WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting, Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news, ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Wrestling with Idiocy Episode 7, our favorite WrestleMania matches. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Shall we begin?
Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
What's up, YouTube land? This is Double A, and welcome to the next installment of Double Down with Double A. And what do I have here? 15 weird YouTube questions. Let's see. Question number 1. What's a nickname only your family calls you? Do I really have to answer this one?
Yes, you have to answer them.
Crap.
Kind of the point of the 15-word questions is you actually have to answer them.
Y'all, nobody knows this one, and I'm gonna get razzed about this one so freaking bad. My grandmother on my mom's side used to always call me pudding cakes.
Aww. Cute.
You do not have a license to call me that shit.
Oh, yes we do.
No, you don't.
We're your family.
Okay, pudding cakes.
Alright, butt tuba. What's a weird habit of mine? That's a good one. This one is probably a weird one, but sometimes when I'm pissed off and I need to vent and get some shit off my chest, I rehearse it in my head first and kind of mumble it under my breath, then I vent. Number 3. Do I have any weird phobias?
Well, what was the answer to the second one?
I just said it.
I didn't hear you.
I said...
Watch the show back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, watch the show.
Give them views and ratings.
That's right.
And the screen just went, okay. A weird phobia of mine. Especially if I'm like walking like in a, very dark area, there's like a bunch of trees and trees and shrubberies around and it's dark out. I have a phobia of small furry creatures because I don't know where the fuck they're coming from. The big furry creatures like a bear or a wolf doesn't scare me so much, but like a little badger they creep me the fuck out.
Diesel, go over there.
Number 4. What's a song that do I secretly love to blast and belt out when I am all alone? I know I'm gonna catch some shit for this one.
Come on, what is it?
I know I'm gonna catch some shit for this one, but for those of you that don't know, I am a big fan of West Side Story. And no, it's not I Feel Pretty. It's not. No, it's not that one.
Pretty? I'm so pretty.
It's not. Actually, it's another touchy one. It's from West Side Story. It's called Tonight. Tonight.
You would.
I do. It's an awesome one.
Let's see. Number 5. What's one of my biggest pet peeves? 2. I'll give you 2 of them. One is drama, and another one is nosy ass people. Bottom line.
And he lives in this house.
Yeah. Especially when they want to dip in the Kool-Aid, don't even know what the freaking flavor is. I just had one of those episodes earlier today with somebody that doesn't live here, surprisingly. Where am I at? What's one of my nervous habits? I bite my nails. I bite my nails or I go smoke a cigarette.
Stutter?
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah, you catch me doing that when I'm... And screen just locked again. What side of the bed do I sleep on? Right smack in the middle. Number 8. What was your first stuffed animal and its name? I never had one. Next question.
Never had one?
Never had one.
Never had it.
I call bullshit.
I never have. I swear, I never had a teddy bear or, a Cabbage Patch Kid or a Pound Puppy or any of that. I never had one. I swear. Let's see. What's the drink that I always order at Starbucks? That's easy. I always get a venti cappuccino or a venti mocha cappuccino or the house coffee, depending on what I want to drink.
You can go to Starbucks and get a regular cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They got some
for
good coffee.
$7 for a small. Or you can go to 7-Eleven and get a small for like 50 cents.
What's the beauty rule that I preach but never practice? I always, personally, mine is probably, dude, you need you got some summer creases on that shirt, you need an iron, but I'm the first one to walk out with some wrinkled ass clothes. Which way do I face in the shower? I always first thing I do when I turn the water on, I face where my back is to the water so the hot water can run across my back and, you know, loosen up the knots and the kinks in it. Then after I start lathering up, I'm actually facing inside the water. Let's see, do I have any weird body skills? Let's see, I can roll my tongue. I can roll my eyes to the back of my head, cross them. This one's kind of cool.
Let me look.
Oh!
I can pop it in and out of socket on command.
Oh, it's so
It's
not
permanently dislocated. Out of socket, in socket.
Next
out of
question.
socket, in socket.
Oh.
What's my favorite comfort food that's bad, but I love to eat it anyways? Oh, it's so many of them. It's so many of them. I mean, especially people here in Casa D18 Studios, they don't like it when I eat my Mexican food or anything with a lot of spice or beans in it because
you turn into a tuba.
Because I will clear the runway, man. Seriously, poor Mikey. You know what? What's the phrase or exclamation that I always say? How you like them apples?
I prefer applesauce.
Shut up, Jay. And time to sleep. What are you actually wearing? I'm actually wearing it right now. Well, actually, it depends. It depends on it. When it's cold, I wear, you know, sleeper pants and a sweatshirt or something. When it's hot, commando.
Oh!
Yes, I know.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Double A goes commando and he sleeps in a room with another dude.
That is wrong.
You had to say that, huh?
It's wrong.
Oh, man.
I'm covered up. I
Wrong.
got covers on. But yeah, there you go. There's my 15 weird questions. And I'm Double A. And this was Double Down with the Double A.
Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's installment of the Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams. I believe this is episode 13. I've gotten so many now that I've kind of lost track of the count. Made it further than I did with my old show, which I'm sure you guys already know. I've addressed it a couple times, both on this show and Dad's. But anyways, let's get on to what I have to cover for this week in pro wrestling. Now, I'm going to start talking about a little bit something else in here aside from just WWE, TNA, a little bit of NWA. I'm going to start talking a little bit about the Ultimate Fighter this week. I finally got caught up for 3 weeks. We were 3 weeks behind on our viewing, and with Brock Lesnar as one of the coaches, I figure, former WWE champion, should address it. Right now, Brock Lesnar's getting his ass beat. Junior Dos Santos, the other coach, is up 2-1 in the season. We've had 2 people leave the show without having been eliminated from the show. One guy had a torn ACL, and another dude was a bitch. Plain and simple. He got on there, Keon was his name, he got on there talking about, I'm here to win for my baby, I'm here to become the next Ultimate Fighter. I want to be here. I want to fight, Dana. I want to fight. I want to go home. I miss my baby. Look, dude, being a dad too, if you can't deal with being away from your kid for the duration of the show, don't sign up for the show. Seriously. But anyways, Team Lesnar, like I said, has 1 victory so far. Team Dos Santos has 2 victories, and I'll probably get a little bit more in-depth with that in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to let everybody out there know that starting this week, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Ultimate Fighter since Brock is on. Now moving over to wrestling, which is what y'all are watching for anyways. TNA Lockdown. We made history at TNA Lockdown. That's right. Mickie James, first woman to become Knockouts Champion, Divas Champion, and Women's Champion. Congratulations. Since, WWE would rather turn Gail Kim into an Asian prostitute than a Divas Champion, they weren't going to do it anytime soon. So congratulations to Mickie for being the one to do it. At least it was somebody that deserved it, as opposed to, a blonde toothpick with olives. Sorry. Becoming the first woman and Divas champion in WWE. Everything else was pretty much predictable for TNA. Steen retained, whoop-de-freaking-do. Fortune defeated Immortal in Lethal Lockdown. AJ made his return to help Fortune get their victory. I'm kind of over it at this point. It was a good little thing they had going there for a while, but having missed a few weeks of Impact and not really knowing, all the hype and build-up for it, it just kind of fell flat for me. Now over to WWE. The big news coming out of Raw and SmackDown last week was Edge. I'm going to get a little bit more into that in a minute. But the big news coming out of Raw and SmackDown was Edge. But in addition to the Edge stuff, you had the Awesome Kong vignette that played on both shows. Rumors are going around that they're going to be calling her Karma. That's the name that WWE has trademarked now. Rumors are circling that Kong will be known as Karma. And everyone's already anticipating the tagline of Karma is we'll see if they actually let her say it, though, because WWE is not PG. Well, it is PG, but it's not PG. They can't make up their mind where they want to go with it. Last few weeks, they've kind of gotten away from the PG-ness. But, you know, to walk around on TV every week saying Karma is a bitch and so am I or something like that, I just don't see that lasting for long. Brie Bella became the Divas Champion. Anyways, moving right along. The WWE Championship match as of right now is set for Extreme Rules. It'll be The Miz defending against John Cena for about the 500th time. And R-Truth, a newcomer to the title picture, really, you know. I'm glad that Truth is getting a shot, but we'll see if WWE still has the faith in him to allow him to have the shot, or if in the weeks building up to Extreme Rules they take that away from him. Over on Tough Enough, Matt got eliminated. M-Dog 20, big deal on the indie circuit. If you don't know about M-Dog 20, or Matt Cross, as I believe he went by in Wrestling Society X, YouTube him, Google him, look up the matches. M-Dog 20, 9 or 10 year vet in the business, and because he didn't show that he knew any more than the girl off the street that started, you know, a couple weeks ago, he's gone. Matt, you should have stepped up to the game a lot sooner there. You and Eric and Michelle, y'all have been doing this for a minute. There's no reason that y'all should be lagging. Over on SmackDown, Lay Cool went into couples therapy. And I went to the bathroom because, seriously, what the hell? If anybody thinks that Michelle McCool is going to come out of this as a babyface, what the hell show are you watching? This is all going to be to turn Layla face, get her out of Lay Cool, distance her from Michelle, assuming it's not all a big swerve. I could totally see, you know, this being orchestrated by Lay Cool to make their competition think that they're having problems just to maybe regain the title. And speaking of the title, you know, going back to the Awesome Kong thing, I was talking with my good buddy, Mr. TW, Jeff Meacham, NoDQ Talk Wrestling, Dads on Wrestling. You know the script. It's running down my ideas of what they should do with Kong. And all my fans out there, email me, IM me, post it on the YouTube comments, whatever. Let me know what you think of this. Have Awesome Kong come in, run through all the Barbie doll bitches. Kelly, Rosa Mendez, Eve, Layla, Michelle even. You know, just run through all these girls. And then here comes Gail Kim. And right when everybody thinks that Awesome Kong is going to go and just decimate Gail Kim, they hug and embrace. And they make it seem like Gail Kim is who brought Kong to the WWE to just plow over all these bitches to get Gail to the title. Since they had an epic feud over in TNA, Gail's the one that brought her to the big leagues. Let me know what you guys think about that. Over on NWA, oh wait, excuse me. Forgot about the 20-man Battle Royal over on SmackDown, in which Christian will be replacing Edge in the title match at Extreme Rules. Christian versus Alberto Del Rio in a ladder match. Over in NWA Wrestling, Again, if you don't get NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, YouTube it, Google it, find the website. You need to see the match this past week between Austin Aries, A-Double, and Willie Mack. One of the best matches I think I've seen on TV in any federation for a long time. Not counting, of course, the Cabana Pierce NWA title match, which, you know, I was there live to see. Percy Pringle, the former Paul Bearer, is now over in the NWA managing Natural Selection. And again, if you don't know anything about these kids, Ricker and Cage, look them up. Two hot, young, talented guys from Cali that I can see eventually maybe climbing up to the ranks and being in one of the big two someday. As a matter of fact, I think I read a rumor somewhere that Cage was signed to developmental for a short time. And I'm getting a nod over here from the Mr. TW letting me know that yes, I am correct about that. So, you know, obviously WWE has seen the talent. Be on the lookout for these guys. Now, back to the big story of the week. Edge. The rated R superstar himself had to retire this week. And it was a sad day for all of us fans that have been following him for the 13 years of his WWE career. Last week, I kind of broke the story. I talked about it a little bit, and I even speculated that maybe it was an angle. Because WWE has been known to pull crap like this before and turn something that could be very sincere into a gimmick. Now, after watching Raw all the way through, after watching SmackDown, after seeing the emotional send-offs and the 5-second pose after SmackDown went off the air, and I am convinced that this is legit. If Vince McMahon screws me at this point, I'm going to disown WWE, seriously. Because they've done a Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels-esque send-off for this guy. And if this ends up to be a gimmick, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people. People are already sad and pissed that he has to retire to begin with. And if they make this into a story, you know, Edge surrenders the belt, Christian is at the top of the ladder, about to become world champion for the first time. Edge comes out, spears Christian off the ladder, says, "You're not going to get the belt." Really, guys? So, but I digress. Edge, I had been fortunate to meet you a couple times in the past. Once in Staples Center shortly after you won the King of the Ring back in 2001. Once on the road to WrestleMania 2005, shortly after news had broke about you and Lita and Matt and that whole love affair triangle. And then my fiance got to meet you last year at SummerSlam. So, Adam, Edge, Sexton Hardcastle, thank you for the memories, sir. It has been fun. I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, and I'll see you next week.
now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it's the best thing going today. Learn to love it. Woo! Okay, enough with the corny stuff. Welcome to NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. Last night was a very eventful Raw. I did a quick video with my thoughts. Check that one out on YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. But right now, let's get to your questions. Hey Aaron, do you see Mason Ryan coming back to assist CM Punk in his feud with Kevin Nash or Triple H? No, I do not. I'm not sure what's going on with Mason Ryan right now, but considering that all the SmackDown superstars are going to be on Raw for the foreseeable future, it's not looking good for somebody like Mason Ryan. He already was not getting much TV time, and it's just going to get worse for him, unfortunately. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on Rick Steiner getting a WCW title opportunity against Lex Luger? Also, do you think we'll see Batista or Y2J back in a WWE ring in the next 12 months? Yeah, I actually remember the whole Rick Steiner deal with Lex Luger. I think it was around 1991. I was probably like 8 or 9. It was somewhat of like an early version of Eugene versus Triple H. Like Rick Steiner was like the big dumb guy, but he was the lovable dumb guy. And he's like, I can beat him, I can beat him. Yeah, I thought that was pretty entertaining back in the day. And as far as Batista or Chris Jericho go, anything's possible. With Chris Jericho, I would say maybe Batista probably less likely, but you never know what's going to happen with those two. They could be back at any time. It all depends on if Vince McMahon calls him up and wants him back bad enough and he's willing to throw out the money to them. But I think both of those guys are happy being away from the spotlight right now. All right, let's see what we have here. Would you pay to see X-Pac versus Kevin Nash? No. Do you think the brand extensions are over and anyone can appear on any brand? I don't know if the brand extension is over. Like I said in the previous video, it could be a situation where WWE is testing the waters out, maybe trying to get the ratings up, trying to get the house show numbers up. You know, football's coming up, Monday Night Football. The ratings are already going to go down. They're just trying to keep things from getting too bad. So, we'll have to wait and see on that. It could go either way. Has the brand extension really been going on lately? I mean, guys have been appearing on every show as it is. So, I don't know. Is CM Punk versus Triple H a good idea, or should they have sticked with Kevin Nash as the badass? Well, the big news going around, the word going around is that Kevin Nash was not able to pass a physical. I guess they do a physical before you can actually get in the ring, and something happened with Nash, and I guess he's not able to wrestle. And the weird thing is that if that was the case, they knew Nash was not going to be able to wrestle going into Raw. Why did they book it the way they did? Why did they announce Kevin Nash versus CM Punk and then do the thing with Kevin Nash powerbombing CM Punk, only for them to change it at the very end of the show? I thought that was really strange. There's no good reason why things are going the way they are. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, CM Punk and Triple H has always been the long-term plan. So I mean, in itself is a great idea. I mean, that's a great storyline right there with those two. But yeah, the plan was for it to be at Survivor Series, and now they're pushing it up because of the whole situation with Nash. So I don't know. I don't think it's a really great idea to push it this fast. I think it would be better to do a slow build, but whatever. There's only so many things you can control right there. Hey, Aaron, do you think it would be fit that Kane, with his mask, have his last feud against The Undertaker, and for his final match to be Kane versus Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell, maybe at a SummerSlam or Survivor Series pay-per-view? Okay, they already did a Hell in a Cell match in 2010, and it was not pretty. It was a really bad match. So I do not think they should do Kane versus Undertaker again in any kind of match. Like I said in a few days ago on the NoDQ&A video, if Kane has his last match, and it'll probably be against somebody like a Mark Henry, somebody like a heel on SmackDown. It's not going to be a main event match, especially Kane versus Undertaker. I just don't see them going back to that again. Especially, I don't really want to see that match again. I'm sure a lot of people don't. Do you see Justin Gabriel as the next Jeff Hardy-ish character? Or is he going to start face painting himself and doing whatever it is? I don't even know. His tweets are philosophical and is getting over with the fans quite well. Well, this is news to me. I did not know that. Why is it that TNA does not push Matt Morgan? He has the potential to have great matches, such as the match against Kurt Angle. So what's up with TNA and not pushing him? Well, they did push him back in 2009, I believe, for Bound for Glory. They did the big match with him versus Kurt Angle, and I think Kurt Angle won. I don't remember for sure, but I know they made a big deal out of saying Matt Morgan could really go with Kurt Angle, and in typical TNA fashion, they never really went anywhere with it. They start to push a guy, and then they give up on him, and they push somebody else. They push one of the veterans. I'm really tired with the whole TNA deal where they're doing the young guys versus the veterans. I have respect for you, but I'm gonna kick your ass. Blah blah blah. It's the same storyline done to death, and it's just a whole company-wide problem with TNA. It's not just Matt Morgan. It's a lot of the guys that they just don't know how to market them. That's the bottom line, and it's not Matt Morgan's fault. He's a good worker. He's a big guy. They should be able to do something with him, but it's TNA. What can you say? All right. Why was Nathan Jones such a flop? They hyped him up to be this unstoppable beast, yet he was taken off the card for WrestleMania 19. He was just really, really, really green. The guy was not ready to be on national television. And I guess, the whole deal with him was because he was brought up too soon, brought up to the main roster. It kind of, got to his head, and he wasn't sure how to handle himself. And sure enough, about 6 months after that, 6 months after WrestleMania 19, he ended up quitting. So yeah, it was just a situation where they should have kept him in a developmental program longer, but they decided to try to bring him up right away, and it just didn't work out. So there you go. All right, that about does it for NoDQ&A on NoDQ.com. Send a question to formspring.me/AaronRift. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this video on youtube.com/NoDQCAW. And my question to you guys for today is, do you think it's time for the brand extension to end? Should they just keep it as one brand on 2 shows, or should they keep the brand extension going? Let me know what you think. Let me know what your ideas are. Maybe should they keep it going for a couple months, or should they do it as a full-time thing? Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time on NoDQ&A video.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Masters Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. All Retro Wrestling Review Series videos on demand and upcoming. All WrestleMania themed retros available now on demand. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play series. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. Both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show. AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. Indy Force episode 26, available now on demand. Jeff Meacham Network, Backlash and Rebellion Watch-Along events. FTW Productions watch party for WrestleMania Go Home Raw. A Simple Take, WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting. Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news. ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Wrestling with Idiocy Episode 7. Our favorite WrestleMania matches. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Internet fans, it's me, Statboy, and we're back after that long, tedious, and somewhat fun 9-part episode that we last shot. Shout out to my brothers, thanks again, Renegade and 7, for helping me out. Now we're back to a good old-fashioned rant episode. This is officially episode 13. Ooh, scary numbers. Basically, what I want to talk about today, I did say I'll talk about wrestling, and okay, Diesel, behave. The cat just jumped from what? You want to be on the show again? What? Where are you going? I got him. Yep. Now he's under the bed. Doggone it, Diesel, you screwed up my rant.
Wouldn't it be Cat Donut?
Cat Donut? Yeah, Cat Donut. Yeah, that's a good. I like what you did there. Yeah, I really like what you did there. Yeah. I gave you a California salute. He's pouting. Family love. Anyway, wrestling-wise, I said I would talk about wrestling, so I'm going to talk about wrestling. And the biggest thing that came up amongst all the other stuff, if you haven't watched the shows, the TNA stuff and the WWE stuff, watch it. But a nice documentary done by ESPN on their show titled E60 featured Scott Hall. You would remember him as Razor Ramon back in the WWE in the mid to late 90s and all that. And of course, we all know his career. He came in, he was the bad guy from Miami, Florida. And, basically they gave him it was like, almost like a fall from grace story, how he was this cool Cuban guy, you know, he was bad, he was like Tony Montana, that's how the story of Razor Ramon came about. He was into wrestling, and he went up to Vince McMahon and he says, "Hey Vince, have you ever seen the movie Scarface?" Vince goes, "No." He goes, "Well, say hello to the bad guy." Vince liked that idea. He goes, "Hey, this could make me some money. So what are we going to call you?" He says, "Well, I think my name should be Razor. But I can't just be Razor. I need a Spanish name." Ramon popped up. Razor Ramon. Of course, he won the Intercontinental title a couple times. He had a nice feud with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10. You know, back and forth, back and forth. And then he left. And he went over to WCW with his good buddy Kevin Nash. He became part of the Clique, of course, in WWE with Shawn Michaels and X-Pac and Shawn, Kevin, Scott, and Shawn again. 2 Shawns, got it right, good. And Hunter. And Hunter. Hunter was there too, excuse me. Sorry, Triple H, my bad. Did the whole outsider thing, started on the NWO, and then briefly came back to WWE after all that, had the NWO version, the WWE version of the NWO, and then he faded away. And sadly, he was fond of the drink. And in the interview, he claimed his grandparents were drunks, his parents were drunks, and before you know it, he turned into an alcoholic. He's been into rehab, allegedly, 19 times. I read 19. He said 10, but I've read other parts where it's been longer. And of course, the drugs and the booze caught up with him. And, you know, he'd go to the hospital, he had seizures and all this stuff. And of course, the most famous footage is him in Boston, Massachusetts, or not Boston, but in Massachusetts, and he comes out to the ring and he's got this look like he's just dead. He's like a literal walking zombie. He's slow to move. There's just nothing there. He even had the hospital bracelet on his wrist, and he was actually there with I didn't realize it at first, but it was Just Incredible. Just Incredible was in that match as well. It was a sad attempt at a comeback. He looked horrible. His speech was really slurred. And in this documentary, he now has to take 11 different medications to keep his heart from stopping and dying, you know. And I looked at it and I'm thinking, I want to feel sorry for you, but you know, if it's what you got to do to survive, then that's what you got to do to survive, Scott. You know, you're done with wrestling. WWE has even paid for his rehab because he's got a lot of friends. You know, he's in his 50s, so wrestling-wise, he's done. He shouldn't be in the ring. He's trying to reconcile with his 20-year-old son, and that's good. I don't see his son coming into WWE anytime soon. They're doing the Indy circuit, you know, but it's even Nash and Sean Whitman are saying, you know, I love Scott, but I think he's going to be dead soon. And I don't wish death on anybody, but with all the drugs people take and they try to go to rehab and they try to clean themselves up and then they get all these other drugs that try and clean them out, at some point your body just can't take it and you're done. Now, you know, that's Scott's life. It was a well-put documentary. It's still on ESPN.com. Go watch it. You know, I wish you all the best, Scott Hall. I don't want to see you go anytime soon. And I'm going to leave it at that, you know. To everybody out there in sports world, and you know, don't start taking drugs, please, because you're just going to end up destroying yourself. In other news, the world has gotten rid of another bad man. I can't pronounce your first name, I apologize, but we know him as Gaddafi. over in Libya, halfway across the world. CNN broke the news to me and to everybody else, and of course the Libyans are dancing in the street because their regime has fallen and they can finally have peace in the world, or peace of what they state. As soon as I heard the news, I put on Facebook, I wrote that in 5 years' time, 3 bad men are gone. For clarification, Saddam, Osama, and now Gaddafi. Are we finally going to have peace in the world? Let's hope. Someone said, no, we're not going to have peace, we're going to have hope. Well, I think hope leads to peace. One of my big issues, and this may be a little bit morbid, but CNN actually showed footage and a picture. They didn't claim it to be him at first. They said, you know, we have a picture of this guy, and it was one of the goriest pictures I've ever seen. And it's like, oh yeah, that's that Gaddafi guy. He's dead. You can see he's dead. You know. And then I thought back. It's like, well, if you remember back 5 years ago when Saddam got his, they showed pictures of him in the noose and all that, and they show him standing there, and then the press cut and say, we can't show anymore. That's it. We're done. All you know is he's dead. Like a few days later, somebody with a cell phone camera actually has moving pictures of him dropping, snapping, hanging there for a second. You see his neck is all bent, and I mean, yeah, it's kind of gruesome, but I watched it just for closure purposes, because just because you go on the news, you know, there's always those people out there that just want more. And you can call them morbid, you can call them creepy, you can call them that they want closure, but to some people, the good old-fashioned news just isn't good enough for them. So then why haven't we seen a picture of Osama? You know? President Obama did show a picture to members of his chief of staff, and I believe a few senators in the Senate got to see it, but as far as the general public, they didn't see it. So are there people in the U.S. that are stupid enough or crazy enough or they want that closure to see this picture just to prove that he's dead? I even heard a report that some treasure hunter is actually going to finance a trip out to the sea where he was buried just so he could find him. That's kind of creepy in itself, guys. I mean, you know, I want to say that, yeah, I know he's dead and all that, but the little piece of me, you know, okay, fine, I'll look at it. I'm not going to get grossed out by it unless his head's completely chopped off his head, off his body or something. You know, it's just 2 bullet holes. Bullet holes are just bing bing, and that's it. You know, you don't see your blood and guts spilling out all over there or anything like that. You know, so let's work for world peace, because I want to see that. I also read a report. And after the bell, it was briefly touched that President Obama is going to announce that the troops are coming home. And damn it, it's about damn time. As soon as Osama was found, dead, captured, killed, whatever, that should be it. I mean, let the people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and Iraq, let them fight their own battles. You know how many troops we've lost? So many to count. And I am proud whenever I meet a military person, be it sitting in a restaurant or when they come to Disneyland, where I work. I work at Disneyland, as if you guys haven't figured that one out. Whenever I see one of their military IDs, I first ask them how they're doing in the park, if they're having a good time, and I always end every conversation with, thank you for all that you have done. And they smile and they walk away and they have a good time, you know. So whenever we went to Hooters recently, and there were 3 Army guys in their fatigues, and I didn't get a chance to go over and say thank you to them. So thank the troops. Come home. They're coming home for the holidays, and hopefully they're coming home for good, and that's about time. The last thing I want to talk about is I'm a big reality star, and this is going to be kind of a little bit funny, you know. I'm not a reality star, I like reality TV. Yeah, Stat Boy is a reality star. Let's start the petition to get Stat Boy on Big Brother. That's going to be later on in the year. But I watch reality shows, you know, Amazing Race, Big Brother. I used to watch American Idol. I used to watch there was a show called Lost, but it wasn't the drama on ABC. Let's see, what other reality shows? The Celebrity Wrestling, Fit Camp. What? Survivor. I used to watch that. Road Rules, Real World, all those shows. And I'm currently watching the current season of Amazing Race. And in the first leg of the race, there's a team of Las Vegas showgirls. And the task at hand was to go from Los Angeles to Taiwan. And of course, then they're driving to LAX, and they get lost, and they stop at a gas station. And they go in. And as one of them exits the car, their passport drops on the ground. And the cameraman, pretend this is a camera, he takes his camera and he gets a shot of the passport on the ground. Now, these cameramen are not allowed to interact or interfere with any of the gameplay or the show. If they do, one, it's an advantage to the team somehow, and other teams, well, they got help, and two, they're just paid to run a camera. So the cameraman goes down, gets a shot of the passport. The team goes in, gets their directions. They get back in the car peels off, and again the cameraman, who is, I guess, left behind for a few seconds, gets another shot of the passport, which is sitting there on the ground. The team is driving along, going through the bag. Oops, I don't have my passport. We need to go back. They go back. Do you have my passport? No, I don't have your passport. Great, now what do we do? In a suspense builder, it's like I don't know what to do with my passport, and all that stuff. So the team makes it to LAX. They go to the ticket counter. Did anybody turn in a passport? No. So now the drama build-up is being made by CBS and the company that produces Amazing Race. They go to and then they start to have a fight in the airport. They start to have a fight. It's like, well, I can move on. You need to stay behind. Well, I don't want to stay behind. Well, you don't have a passport. Well, that's not. I don't know where I'm. We go to commercial. We come back from commercial, and they always play a little snippet, like the last 5 seconds of the clip before they go back to the show. And over the loudspeaker, will the person who possibly lost a passport please come to the information desk? So she's running along, and somebody comes up into the shot. Excuse me, did you lose a passport? At first I'm thinking, wow, you found her just like that. She's happy, and they can move on in the game. And CBS decides, well, let's put this guy on the show. And they get the camera. How did you find this person? He said, well, I work at the gas station. I found the passport, and I went on my Twitter, and I said, hey, it looks like the Amazing Race people came by, and someone dropped their passport. What do I do? Tweet. He gets a response. Get to LAX. That's where they're probably going. He gets to LAX, gives the passport, and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, wow, there really are some nice people in the world. And it was a bit funny, too, because it's like, you realize that the cameramen aren't supposed to do anything, but they want to, you know. It's like, hey, you dropped something, here, come get it, you know, and all that good stuff. So, we're back, and here we are. Now, upcoming stuff. I've got a couple minutes left, I assume, yes? Yeah. I have said on Facebook and Twitter that a new t-shirt is coming out next week. I should have them. I'll debut it. I'll give you information and prices and all that. It's a shirt that my good buddy Josh designed. You know, it's going to be a simple shirt, and we'll keep it at that. Coming up next is going to be a prediction show by me. That'll be episode 14, and then episode 15 will be put the comments on the board and let me rant, because, like I said, we did the long episode, so I really am totally lost on comments. So I need some comments, and then possibly maybe 16 or 17. We're going to bring in the boys again, and we're going to do another list show. Okay? So for now, keep those comments coming, and Statboy is out.
now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Casa D18 Studios.
Episode 13 of Dads on Wrestling is brought to you by J.J. Williams, the Renegade of Wrestling, and Talk Wrestling's own Jeff Meacham. Starts now.
It's brought to us by us, huh? All right,
I know,
that
right?
works for me.
We're our own sponsors.
We're our own sponsors this
week.
week.
It's just like WWE, baby. If every now and then they sponsor their own pay-per-view because they don't want to shell out the cash to Slim Jim, 7-Eleven,
Snickers, whoever. Yeah, exactly. Screw you, Mars Candy. We're sponsoring our own damn selves.
That's
Yeah.
right, baby.
Wow.
We're back here this week on a brand new episode of Dads of Wrestling. As the anonymous announcer man said, I am the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams. He is Mr. T.W. Jeff Meacham, and we are here today to discuss the 2011 class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
And that's about as prestigious as it gets with that voice right there. It's,
Whoa,
you've
hold
got
on,
this
hold on.
guy and a couple others, but yeah.
In fact, just to keep the prestige momentum we've got, let's start with the Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper, the icon, the main event, Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels, a.k.a. Michael Shawn Hickenbottom.
That's right. He deserves it. No question about that. You know, Shawn, you know, I am wearing this shirt, and granted, you know, a lot of people sour on Hulk these days, and including me. I've said it. You know, if I had money to replace it, I'd tear this shirt. Yeah. If you watched Talk Wrestling a couple weeks ago, yeah. Anyway, and if you didn't, you should. Hulk was to the '80s what Shawn Michaels was to the '90s, as far as the WWE is concerned. There's no question about that.
At least until the mid '90s, when Austin Mania took over.
Well, like '97 on, Austin took over Shawn's spot, but then again, Shawn was gone with a back, you know, stretched about 4 ways to Tuesday.
Exactly.
So,
like I said, up until about the mid '90s when Austin Mania took over.
Yeah. So, you know, but Shawn Michaels, you know, Vince came out there at the Hall of Fame 2 years ago and called Stone Cold the greatest WWE superstar of all time. I gotta disagree with Vince on that one, because of anybody that's been in the WWE from the golden age of the '80s on, you gotta go with Shawn Michaels, because not only did Shawn epitomize the late '80s as the tag team and the early to mid '90s as the singles great that he was, but he came back and still owned.
This is very true, but the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes himself, made a very good point on the Raw that he guest hosted a couple years ago when he did that spot with DX. He was talking about how, you know, Triple H asked him whose idea it was to come up with the Shockmaster, and he kind of ashamedly had to come hang his head and say his own. And Shawn started laughing, and Dusty was like, "You're just mad because WCW whooped you guys in the ratings when you were champion."
Oh, that's true.
All
Very
three
true.
times that Shawn Michaels had the title, WCW was whooping WWF's ass in the ratings.
This is very true. This is very true.
You know, there's an argument to be said there that maybe Shawn shouldn't have ever had the belt in the first place if the ratings weren't up to par with him as champion.
True.
Just playing devil's advocate.
Of course,
I am not the biggest Shawn Michaels fan in the world. I give the devil his due, so to speak, for what he's done in the past. But just something about him always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And no, it doesn't have to do with Montreal anymore. I've gotten over that. Just something about him just kind of always rubbed me the wrong way.
All right.
Cannot deny the talent, but
It is, yeah, right.
Like I said, Dusty made a good point.
And then another deserving group in the class of the Hall of Fame this year, the Road Warriors. Okay. And Paul Ellering, of course. They threw him in, which, you know, I'm surprised they threw Paul the Bone there, because for the most part, when LOD was in WWE, there was no Paul Ellering until the very end of their big run in WWE. But WWE recognizes greatness every once in a while, and they threw Paul the Bone there. So all three of them are going in this weekend, so that's very cool. I found it funny that they were called the only team to win a title in every Fed they worked in, at least. You know, the Dudleys did it later, and I arguably say they did it better. Yeah. Because LOD won one in each. Yeah.
The
Dudleys owned many times.
Dominated
everywhere they went. Even in the WWF's WCW, they were still tag team champions of WCW. So, you know. You gotta get the Dudleys their due, but they work for the other guys. So,
exactly.
You know.
So they don't count anymore.
They don't count anymore. They're like Benoit. They don't exist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you know. Right, Chris Jericho? Anyway. That's not the best book ever. I'm sorry.
The Dudleys are mad fruit, and so are the LOD. I just gotta throw that in there. Just remember, I told everybody I'm not gonna tell you what fruit means until the Renegade episode after WrestleMania. So
Tuesday.
So you got to look forward to that on Tuesday. Those of you that have read Undisputed, you know what fruit is all about. Those of you that haven't, go buy the book,
Or wait till Tuesday. Give me some more ratings, because I need some views, damn it.
Yeah, we need some viewers and subscribers on this show.
But yeah, the Road Warriors are definitely well deserving. We kind of knew it was going to happen,
especially
when
where
they were
it was,
coming to Chicago.
Right.
But it begs the question: why didn't they go into the Hall of Fame when the Hall of Fame was in Chicago?
Maybe we'll find out.
The only other person of the class that's actually deserving, in my opinion, is the original diva, Sunny.
Yes.
My guardian angel.
Yeah, we both met Tammy Sedge, Sunny, a couple different times.
Yeah.
She is one of the few people who you hear nothing but BS and garbage from everybody else. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She, for everything that she could have been, because let's face it, before there was Sable, before there was Indy, before there was even this lady, or Trish, or anybody, there was Sunny.
Yes.
Sunny has every right to have a head about 3 sizes too big.
Yes, the only women of importance that really came before Sunny were, of course, Sherry, Moolah, and Elizabeth.
Exactly.
And none of them really fit the diva mold, which is why she's got the nickname of the original
WWE diva. Exactly.
They were either wrestlers or they were arm candy. And granted, Sunny was arm candy, not really a wrestler, but she took the beauty of the diva to the next level.
Right. And she took...
the most downloaded woman on the internet for a while.
In 1996, she was AOL's most downloaded woman, which, that's a pretty big deal in 1996.
Yeah.
So, and, she, you talk about the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
She injected a new life into those guys for a few months at WrestleMania 14 and came out there looking as sexy Sunny as ever.
Oh, yeah.
With the LOD, with the helmets and the badass, and they whooped that ass in the Battle Royal.
Yes.
Which, that's probably going to be our Hall of Fame match for both of them.
Right.
What we're going to do.
Unless we can dust off that SummerSlam match of the Road Warriors where they come riding in on the bikes.
I had that at home. But of course, Hawk was half sloshed off his ass right down to the ramp.
It wasn't Hawk half sloshed. I mean, seriously, they did do that whole Hawk died angle in WWF where he fell off the freaking Titantron. Because Draws pushed him or whatever.
And now Draws is crippled. Now Draws is crippled. Hawk is dead. Animal. Yeah, Animal's his animal. There you go.
I wonder if they're going to bring Draws out to induct him. That would be
cool. That would be cool.
Considering he did come in to the WWF as Puke, the third member of the LOD.
Right.
It would be cool to roll him out there and let him share his memories of riding with them in the WWF before his unfortunate accident at the hands of D'Lo Brown.
Yep.
And just get him out on TV again, because everybody misses Draws.
Yeah, no, we all love Draws, so, Draws is cool.
Now on to the epic failures of the class of 2011.
The rest of the class...
And I got one word for you. Ho!
Lee crap.
I love Hacksaw.
I didn't even plan that, by the way.
I love Hacksaw. He's a cool dude. He's a great character. I met him a couple years ago at Raw in Anaheim, you know, when he was way past the twilight of his prime. But I also cussed him out to his face when he was in WCW as a member of Team Canada.
Turncoat, son of a bitch.
That was back when I still, was new to the wrestling and, didn't know exactly what was storyline, what was real, and kind of got caught up in it a little bit. I cussed his ass out during WCW, and he was all up in my face ready to hit me, and I'm like, do it, bitch, do it!
Yeah.
I was hoping that they'd come back from that epic episode of Thursday Night Thunder and see during the break.
Right?
And show me cussing him out and everything.
Seriously, that'd be awesome.
But Hacksaw, there's way better people that should go in the Hall of Fame other than Hacksaw.
But Jay, he's a former United States champion. He's a former World Television champion. He's a former King of the Ring. Who gives a shit?
He's also the first person to win the Royal Rumble.
True.
And that's like the highlight of his career.
Which is probably what we're going to watch.
That's back when jobbers were actually allowed to win the Royal Rumble.
This is true.
Because what jobbers won the Royal Rumble since him? I'll wait. Yeah. Santino almost got it this year. That would have been awesome if Santino did it. Then he could induct Hacksaw and be like, see? Jobbers can win the Rumble. I did it too, Hacksaw! Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Ow, I can't even walk off camera.
That's why I stay on this side, Jeff, because I've got hallway.
Damn it.
Bullet Bob Armstrong. The only thing that I want to see, or hear even, is that...
Oh, you didn't know? Exactly.
if that music hits, because it's rumored that his sons are going to be inducting him.
Yep.
You've got referee Scott, and let's see. Yeah, everyone wants to hear referee Scott Armstrong give an induction speech. No. They want to hear the voice of the Outlaws, the Road Dogg Jesse James, command the WWE microphone one more time.
Can you imagine having to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, your next WWE Hall of Fame inductee, Bullet Bob Armstrong. People go.
And that'll be the biggest pop that Bullet Bob ever got.
Exactly. Well, wait, no, he didn't get pops on TNA. Oh, wait, TNA doesn't count. That's right.
That's the other guys, Jeff. You keep forgetting about the other guys.
I forgot. I'm sorry. Let's see, who else? Drew Carey.
Yeah. I was going to save him for last.
Oh, go for it. By all means. Last but not
Abdullah the
fine.
Butcher. I kind of touched on him a little bit on Renegade of Wrestling last week. My thoughts on Abdullah the Butcher. So I'm not going to say much, Jeff.
Granted, Abdullah is a legend. Granted, Abdullah has survived how many decades in this business, and he's got divots the size of poker chips in his head, like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But other than his brief little thing in WCW where he was Cactus's ally, then he was Cactus's foe, then he was Sting's. What the fuck did he do?
I'll still go on record as saying that without guys like Abdullah the Butcher, there probably would have never been an Extreme Championship Wrestling.
This is true. I'll give you that. Okay.
Which we all know as the little engine that could from the mid-90s. But aside from being inspiration to a bunch of people that were willing to cut themselves open in a bingo hall for 50 people.
Yeah. And, I will say that the fact that Terry Funk's inducting him means something, because Terry Funk, wouldn't induct just Joe Blow from Kokomo.
This is true.
So, we'll see.
Which brings us to Drew Carey.
First of all, Bob Barker's inducting him, rumored, so shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah, I definitely think. The only reason I'd like to see Bob Barker up there inducting Drew Carey is I want to see Bob Barker pull some Happy Gilmore shit.
Right,
and just
exactly.
knock Drew Carey out. Be like, this is for stealing my TV show.
And look right at the camera. CBS, I'll be back on Monday.
Right?
I'm out of retirement, bitches.
Hey, if Leno could do it to Conan, then I think Bob Barker's got enough stroke to do it to Drew Carey.
Well, the difference is I have respect for Bob Barker.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah.
Sorry, Jay, I have respect for you. Sorry.
This Hall of Fame class is so clusterfucky. I mean, Jeff, you seem to be the one with your hands in a bunch of cookie jars.
Yes.
No pun intended.
None taken.
You know, what happened to this WCW-themed Hall of Fame?
You know, that was rumored for the longest time, and we've got Bob, who made an impact in WCW. We've got
Hacksaw, who turned heel on the world in WCW.
And we got the Road Warriors, who made a big impact in the Jim Crockett Promotions, all that. But
where's Luger? Where's the Outsiders?
Ron Simmons?
Savage? Yeah, where's Farouk? Where's Ron Simmons?
How about, I'm just saying, Double A?
Seriously, I mean, he's still a road agent.
He lives on the East Coast still. I think he lives in that area still. Put him in.
You know, J.J. Dillon.
Well, J.J.'s managing Adam Pearce on the weekends these days, so they probably couldn't get a hold of his ass. So, I love me my Adam Pearce. And J.J.
Hey, if I had known that, dude, NWA Marquez, bring Dillon to Hollywood.
Please. I will so pose with him like this. I'll be the biggest goober Bart.
Everybody will. I think everybody will. But, you know, we're getting the wrap-up single from our cameraman, our substitute cameraman today, Stat Boy, and our anonymous voiceover.
The voice of God himself back there. Next show will be a little bit more positive, I think.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Next episode, which will be posted on Saturday, special weekend edition, you getting hit twice, bitches. WrestleMania predictions with Stat Boy himself. We'll see you then.